I kind of want to move on to someone with a flawless syllogism.
All right.
That sounds cool. Billy, in Austin, Texas.
Hey, buddy.
Billy, you're in our backyard.
Yeah.
Cool. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Over the phone.
Yeah.
You're not that close.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry. I have a flawless syllogism that I have constructed.
Okay. Well, flawless is definitely something that tweaks my ears because
I have a prediction. Actually,
I have not been able to find any flaws.
Okay, I have a prediction. There's going to be one of the premises that you are confident in concluding is true, and that I will say, actually, I don't find the evidence and reasons behind that one premise sufficient. It's probably what I'm going to.
Are you making this prediction?
It's a prediction. Let's see if I can fulfill prophecy.
Based on prior experience.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah. Who knows?
But sorry. That was
Billy,
probably
what do you got?
That was kind of a jerk move. What do you got for us?
I have thought of every possible way that this syllogism could have flaws, and there are none. All right. Premise one: science cannot investigate the supernatural. Therefore, anything we find that science cannot investigate is supernatural. Do you have a problem with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What is the problem?
So that particular premise is not in the form. The conclusion of that premise doesn't follow. So the fact that there is a thing, the realm of the supernatural, that science cannot investigate does not mean that everything that science cannot investigate is that.
Well, yeah, actually it does, because you're giving the supernatural a definition by saying that science cannot investigate it.
You're just no. So here's the difference.
We're using different definitions.
Yes, no. So here's the difference, Billy. When you say supernatural is a thing that science cannot investigate, you are describing an attribute of the supernatural. If you are trying to say that all things that science cannot investigate are supernatural, then that is different. Or are you saying that all things that science cannot investigate should be labeled supernatural?
Can I put this into an actual?
Well, so I feel like there's a distinction that I want to get from him, and then you. So Billy, does that make sense? As far as what my question?
I disagree. Anything that science can't investigate is supernatural.
Okay.
Do you mean is caused by supernatural means?
I
think that's
I don't
his
know
definition.
what the cause. Yeah.
Oh,
which is why
science can't investigate the supernatural.
Okay. So
if we find something that science can't investigate, then it is supernatural.
Okay.
So that construction is not sound.
Yeah. Let's kind of dig into this a little bit and explore your definition.
Sorry to get caught up on premise one.
Okay. So
that's fine.
So it appears to me. It appears to me that you're defining supernatural as that which cannot be investigated by science. Is that your definition of the supernatural?
No,
okay.
that wouldn't be a definition. That would just be one of the defining attributes, I guess.
Okay,
yeah, then your conclusion doesn't follow.
If that's the let's walk through why.
Okay,
sorry. That's okay.
So
let's kind of go through this and figure out why there's a problem here, right? If that was the case, then we would be constantly moving things from supernatural into natural, because we're always learning more things about the world around us, right? So
we do that.
Before we learned about the germ theory of disease, right? We would have defined it as supernatural all the way up until we, learned about this and studied it, and then after that point, it would be considered natural, right?
Well, but science could investigate it, though. They did. It just wasn't investigated yet.
That is a wonderful distinction that I agree with. So let's actually move forward with that distinction, Billy. So what in this world do you think we will never be able to investigate? Because you're making a supposition. Yeah. You're making a supposition that there are things that we will never be able to investigate.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, like what?
Well, that brings me to premise two, which is.
Hold on. I want an example.
The example would be premise 2, where science cannot investigate dark matter or dark energy.
Okay, how do you know that?
Yeah.
Because it can't be detected. Can you investigate something that you can't detect?
It has been detected.
It has been detected, which is why it has placeholder names.
No. So the effect of dark matter is gravity, right? So that is a detection of dark matter. And you can say that the amount to which scientific investigation can investigate it is limited. I would accept that. However, you can measure gravity. It has been measured. Dark matter has been detected through scientific means.
Well, and that's a misnomer, first off. Like, I kind of want to jump, like, Billy, do you understand what dark matter is?
Well,
no, hold on.
Well, nobody understands what dark matter is.
Then why does it have a name, Billy?
Because it's the name given to the effect that we see whenever we look at other things. When we're investigating galaxies, we notice that they rotate too fast for the amount of visible matter that it has, and so scientists have to put in dark matter or put in another variable to account for that rotation, and that's what they call dark matter.
Exactly, Billy. So hold on. You're saying
so they're not investigating dark matter. They're not investigating dark matter.
No, they're using it as Billy. They're using it as a placeholder to describe an effect that they see.
Yeah.
Right. So dark matter as a thing, right?
We don't yet
may not exist, and until we give something else a definition, until we discover or learn about something else. But to say you can never investigate dark matter, that's just silly. Do you think we're never going to go to space? Do you think we're never going to leave this solar system, Billy? And also, that's kind of an aside because
I can't predict the future.
Yeah, and because you can't predict it, Billy. For you to make a solid statement of never.
No, as of right now.
No. You're saying never, Billy.
We can't. No. I'm saying we can't investigate it.
Are you saying we can't investigate it right now?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Are you saying it cannot be investigated?
I'm saying it cannot be investigated because it cannot be detected. You can't investigate something that you can't detect.
So, two things. One, the last statement you made, you cannot investigate something that you cannot detect. I'm right there with you. However, the scientific process is there is a phenomenon that is observed. There are hypotheses made about it, further observation, investigation. In this case, lots and lots and lots of math that I haven't personally looked at and is almost certainly beyond me as far as my ability to read those scientific papers. However, that is describing a thing that is being observed. That is a form of investigation. That is the beginning of scientific investigation. Science is investigating an effect. Right now, that effect, there is a hypothesis about dark matter. So
they're investigating a thing that's being affected, though. Just like whenever you
that's a method of detecting it. So you don't have to detect something directly in order to detect it.
But to investigate it, you have to detect it. You have to be able to detect it. To investigate it directly, you have to be able to detect it. Math that they do. Listen.
I disagree wholeheartedly with that premise as far as understanding what detection is by means of science. So before, so for example, there are people looking at the effects of celestial objects further away from our star than Pluto, and there's a lot of rocks. Yeah, so this is a sort of separate example, right? We know that asteroids, meteors, etc. exist, and there is a working hypothesis that they are still testing that is far away, that there is a large object, larger than Pluto, very large, that is orbiting the sun through. That is orbiting the sun at that rate. And they are investigating and hypothesizing about where that object would be based on observations of its potential effects on asteroids and other celestial objects out there. that is the beginning of the investigation of, I think at one point it was called, it was one of the things that has been called Planet X. That's probably the wrong name.
Okay.
Would you agree that that is an investigation of that planet object thing?
They're not investigating Planet X, though. You can't investigate Planet X.
Okay. So based on hold on. Based on the example I just gave, if you are measuring the effect of like, hey, look, we can see for these asteroids, and based on their trajectory of where they were and where we can see them now, they were affected by something with a gravitational pull. Let's look at other evidence about other things that may have been affected by a similar gravitational pull. It's like saying you can't investigate a person walking through the woods if you only find their footprints. Yes, you can. That is a trace on other objects left by that person.
But you would be able to detect. I mean, it's.
So you can't tell me what color the person's eyes are yet. However, that is the beginning of investigating that hiker in the woods.
The beginning of investigating isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actually being able to investigate something
directly. Is your statement that
science can't investigate? Science cannot investigate the supernatural.
Okay, Jesus Christ. Hold on. No.
Okay.
Calm down, dude. Calm down.
So no, I feel like your reasoning here led us on a rabbit trail, which is Billy. Hold on, Billy.
Law. Okay,
and if you keep talking about how perfect it is while other people are trying to investigate it,
discuss it, we're probably going to have a problem.
Yeah. So let's.
I've been working on this syllogism for years, dude. It's flawless.
Okay,
Billy?
So go ahead. Sorry.
Billy?
Go ahead.
Then why are you calling a talk show on YouTube? Take it to a university. But the fact is I think I can actually break it down on a talk show on YouTube.
I've done that.
So,
okay.
And what happened, Billy? What happened?
They can't find flaws with it either.
Okay, then let's
You're
walk
saying
through it.
either as though I haven't already pointed out that there's a difference in the meaning of investigation.
Okay, let's...
I mean, that's always what happens. They always start taking pieces of the syllogism and then starting to read, micro-analyze the definition.
That's what you do, Billy.
Yes, that's the process of testing an idea.
Well,
how have you been working on this for years and not understand that's how that works?
Well, that's been done. That's been done.
Well, then how come you are so fucking defensive about this piece right now?
Dude, Christ, calm down, dude.
Okay, so
I'm not defensive. It's just there's no flaws, and
I'm okay. So hold on, no. So let's look.
Not presenting any flaws.
Okay, then let's Billy.
Okay.
Hi, Billy.
Dude, stop.
Okay,
that. Stop.
If you keep doing that, dude, you can stop all day after I hang up on you. So let's actually dig into the syllogism, right?
I get it.
No, it's how I stop people from being assholes. So just chill.
Well, okay. Hey, I'm not being an asshole, dude.
Okay. This is all right. Let me jump in here for just a moment to say, let's just take 1 second, pause, and think about how the goal of this conversation, which the three of us are having, is to examine and test a syllogism that Billy is presenting. And I think if we all breathe in and recognize that we want to have an honest and inquisitive conversation about the premises. Yeah,
and angry.
So
or without having emotion come into it. So one of the things that just happened was when we were discussing it, part of your response was, "Dude, I've been working on this for years and it is flawless." Well, so that statement doesn't really add anything to the conversation. I'd rather talk about the points of the argument, and I think that Eric and you would agree that that's the case.
Sure.
Okay.
For y'all as well.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Billy.
That's a reason.
Very nice, Jamie.
Thank you.
So when you're saying science cannot do this, it seems like we're waffling between can't do it right now or could never do it. And you're using an example of one thing, but I can give you hundreds of examples. Hold on a sec. I can give you hundreds of examples that absolutely fit right through, right? I mean, every advent of technology we've ever had came from us learning new things about the world around us, correct?
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
so.
And so if that is,
I couldn't go through all of them immediately, but
no, but
yeah,
we're,
sounds reasonable.
Yeah, we're not
That's
computers.
them being investigated.
so, well, I mean, we have investigated many things. We learn about the world all of the time. And so,
Yeah, we do.
yeah, the piece that I'm having an issue with is your statement was very broad, right? And you had said that part of what makes up the supernatural is in that definition. You're saying that it is that which cannot be investigated by science. And so I'm trying to dig into what you're saying when you're saying cannot be investigated by science, right? Because if you're saying it can never be investigated, then I would say, how could you possibly know what tools we can develop in 5,000 years?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
So
are you saying at the present moment science cannot investigate this?
I can only say that's all I can say. At the present moment, science can't investigate the supernatural. That's a quote. That's a quote I got from Matt Dillahunty. He says that all the time.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I agree with that by definition.
So let's see.
So if we find something, that science can't investigate, and science can't investigate the supernatural, then it I pretty much follows that.
It does not.
No.
So I've pointed out the problems with the first premise that I have. I don't think that you've taken them on board, and I'm not sure that circling back to them will be particularly fruitful in this conversation. However, what I will say is
your denial.
No, it's not a denial. I brought up problems that I had with it.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. So when I say problems that I had with it, I'm using very neutral language, because I'm just describing my position rather than the specific argument. What I would like to get to is, if you are saying science cannot investigate this right now, and you are acknowledging that at the present moment we are not clairvoyant, we can't predict what tools of investigation science will have in the future, then I would say there is more than just reasonable doubt about what causes the effect currently described as dark matter.
But that's beside the point.
No.
It's window dressing.
It is entirely my point, which is until there is sufficient evidence to make a conclusion about what specific effect or what kind of effect causes what we'll describe as the dark matter effect, then the conclusion is we don't know, or we don't know yet, depending on how confident you want to be in investigation. No, it's not. Actually, it's a reasonable application of certainty.
Can I say something really quick?
Yes.
We don't even know what gravity is.
Yeah.
We don't even know what gravity is.
What does that have to do
so let me point this out, Billy. The limits of human knowledge do not impress me at all. The limits of human knowledge do not say anything at all about the natural world whatsoever. At one point, we did not have sufficient tools to investigate distant planets or what caused stars to explode. And at one point, people said, we will never be able to investigate the chemical makeup of stars that are beyond our reach. And since that time, we have developed
How do you know that? Wait. How do you know that?
By looking through the history of science. It's actually one of the things highlighted in A Brief History of Time as part of the development of being able to investigate the cosmos. So the point is...
People actually used to say that we will never... who said that?
So they said, wow, I cannot imagine a way in which we could investigate the specific chemical makeup of stars at a great distance. And when you look at that, they did not, however, conclude, oh, we should throw up our hands and never look at it, because that's not the way science works. They did not. I know. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people engaged in the scientific investigation of the cosmos in the past. What they did say was, wow, I cannot imagine a way in which this is done. They did not conclude, oh, therefore this is supernatural. And I would have said at that time that they would have been unjustified in drawing that conclusion, in the same way that I'm saying I believe that you are unjustified in drawing the conclusion that you're drawing today.
Okay, let me go at this another way. If I was unable to be detected, okay, and I could walk down the street and stomp on aluminum cans and they would crush flat. And people saw, when people were walking by, all they would see is a can crushing flat. They wouldn't see me because I can't be detected. I'm invisible. Would I be considered supernatural?
No, there wouldn't be a justification for hypothesizing your existence. So if the only phenomenon is aluminum cans are crushed, we could investigate the effect of the aluminum cans. But to conclude there is a supernatural force causing that, I believe is unjustified.
They would think that you don't think that scientists seeing cans just crushing spontaneously on the side of the road, like just crushing flat with nothing around, nothing detected at all. You don't think that scientists would conclude that there's some kind of supernatural thing going on?
So the process of science does not reach conclusions before it has sufficient evidence. And at the point at which people are investigating, let's look at this from the perspective that everyone else would have. We would say, aluminum cans are being crushed and we don't know what causes it. And that would be the point at which either further investigation would take place or insufficient scientific funding would prevent further investigation.
Actually, you nailed that.
Yeah, I don't believe that anyone would be justified in saying there is an invisible, otherwise intangible human being crushing the cans. What evidence would there be for that?
It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they say.
Of course.
We're talking about what they're saying.
Otherwise, your syllogism wouldn't be perfect.
Yeah.
Let's also...
The equivalent of your syllogism would be, therefore, the cause of the cans being crushed is supernatural, and we wouldn't be justified in concluding that.
It would be.
No, whether or not it would be does not affect whether or not, at that point in time, we would have sufficient evidence. What you've described is a situation in which the scientists investigating the phenomenon would have a limited set of data so limited that they would not be justified in drawing a conclusion.
Yes, they would. They would have enough.
What they would have was an unexplained phenomena. And when you have an unexplained phenomena, you do not pull an explanation from the air. In the process of reasonable or scientific investigation, throwing up your hands, I'm very calm. I'm just very insistent in my tone. I am, but I can understand. I can understand how that's not coming across.
Let's all take
the
a breath.
only data that
Let's
would be had would be cans being crushed and it being unexplained. And when something is unexplained, you do not proceed by saying it is pixies.
Look what you did, Billy. Jimmy's wound up.
I never said anything else.
Okay.
Yes, but if someone said, actually, it's an invisible, otherwise intangible human being, their explanation would have precisely the same evidence and precisely the same lack of explanatory power as saying pixies did it, or God did it, or multiple gods did it, or Shiva did it.
Who cares?
Okay.
Who cares what did it?
Billy.
Who cares what did it?
That's the entire point of your premise is that it was caused by supernatural means.
Whatever it is, it would be.
Yeah, I don't.
it wouldn't be.
Please provide a justification for that, because the evidence of we can't investigate it is roughly the same as I cannot find another explanation, therefore it is this. There is a name for that informal logical fallacy.
Like, you guys are not looking at it.
It's called the argument from personal incredulity.
I don't think that you're following me through.
Yeah. Well, let's take a different tact. Billy, can you give me premise one, please?
Okay.
Premise one. Okay. I thought I did this already, but
You did.
Well, I think he's saying let's start over.
Science can't investigate the supernatural. Science can't investigate the supernatural.
So that's your antecedent.
So if we find something that science can't investigate, then it is supernatural.
That's your consequent?
Yeah, that's premise one.
Right.
Premise two is science cannot investigate dark matter and dark energy. And the conclusion, if I may just throw out the conclusion real quick. Conclusion, 95% of the universe is supernatural.
Okay. So let's go back, right? When's the last time you took Logic 101?
So really quick.
Hold on. No,
this is very thing. I would say, I think just for the organization of your argument, hopefully this won't come across as pompous. I think that you should present it as having three premises, because the first premise actually contains two parts.
Well, and I'm actually going through that, Jamie. So
I was going to say, because science cannot investigate the supernatural.
Okay.
It should be first one, and then if we find something that science can't investigate, it should be considered supernatural, would be the second one.
I'm doing this, bud.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So, Billy, when's the last time you took a Logic 101?
Something like me.
What'd you say?
Don't do that, dude. Don't do that.
Don't do what?
Don't do that. You're doing the same thing that militant atheists do. When's the last time you took Logic 101?
I know. I'm asking you because
we're trying to have a civilized discussion.
Yeah, and I'm asking you.
Don't patronize.
I'm not trying to be patronizing, Billy. I'm asking you because I'm about to go into the structural pieces of logic, and I don't know if I can just say, "Hey, you're affirming the consequent," or if I need to teach.
Well,
this is not me trying to be patronizing. This is me trying to help walk you through a couple issues in your syllogism.
I have a
Do you
suggestion.
understand that? Hold on.
I'm probably twice as old as you are. So I've been through the arguments many times.
Then how come you've missed that you're affirming the consequent?
Oh my God! How come you are assuming or pretending that that's what has happened? Because that's not what happened. So not only do you lack a basic understanding of science as a method, but you also lack a 101 understanding of logic. And because of that, it is no wonder that you think it's perfect. You rely on name-calling, talking down, and being rude to people, and that's why you're off the show. Goodbye, Billy. Have a nice day.
Oh. For those of you curious, initially Eric put him on hold, and then I think decided that Billy should be dropped. So, I think we took two different approaches to that.
We did, and we walked over each other.
So there's sort of two problems with the statement. Something that cannot be investigated by science is supernatural, as the second premise. I mean, but really, the syllogism he's presenting is two syllogisms crammed together. The first syllogism being, science cannot investigate the supernatural. Premise two, if a thing cannot be investigated by science, then it is supernatural. Conclusion, then dark matter cannot be investigated by science, therefore dark matter is a supernatural. And then because dark matter makes up 95% of the mass of the universe, then it's supernatural.
You can come up with things that have multiple syllogisms that move forward into a cohesive end.
It's a pedantic point that's a little bit...
So, but a more like, direct on point of that is I'm going to tell you why that didn't work, right? So when you have two premises, you have your antecedent, which is first, and then you have your consequent, right? It's reversed for the camera, so I'll go antecedent and then consequent. There we go. Right. So in your antecedent, it's the first premise that you make, and then the second premise that you make. What you want to do to remain on the up and up is either affirm the antecedent or deny the consequent, right? If you don't do that, you have an issue. And I'll give you an example, right? Antecedent would be all dogs have hair, right? And the consequent, or the second premise, Jamie has hair, right?
Conclusion, therefore, Jamie
is a dog.
The same logic is applied with science. Sorry. Hey, look, that's some nice thunder you've got there. Let me just reach over here and take it. Oh.
Yes, and so I'm not trying to teach you. I'm trying to walk through everybody here.
Yeah.
Right. So when you are affirming the consequent, what you're doing is you're possibly running into that. Now, we can get into the definitions of supernatural, and we can talk that way, which is what Jamie was doing, or you can get into the logical structure. Either way, though, this person failed. And I really, really have a short temper for people who are patronizing, rude, and name call. That's our job. So that's.
I mean, I don't mean to argue with you. I think that's more your job.
But no, it's ridiculous. If you are going to rely on I'm older than you, you're being rude, you are unkind, don't do that to me, and I know more than you as your answers to things. Yeah.
I mean,
that's kind of a sign that you're having an issue. You're talking to two people who will not give 100% surety on anything about the nature of existence, including
because that's the justified position.
It's one of skepticism. So, with that said, of course you're going to get that, and we get that way with each other too. We hold each other honest
yes,
on criticisms of things like that
To be honest,
because we want the other one to be better. And if I told Jamie, hey, Jamie, I am 7 years older than you, so how dare you assume that you can have more intelligence or more knowledge of a topic than me? It's ridiculous. When it comes to current events and politics, he's the one who keeps me informed. So why would I assume that that is a reasoning that would follow? So
it wouldn't. Yeah, I was going to say, if you think that conversation was contentious, you should come have a beer across the table from Eric and I when we
start talking about free will.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're not doing it on the air.